It's basically when we've gotten that property under contract and we sold it to somebody else and made a small fee for that, for our time in what we did there. And as we went through 2010, we ended up doing 22 deals in 2010 in our first full year in business, which consisted of 7 wholesale deals and 15 rehabs or renovations. So our business really got going back in May of last year, in 2010, with our rehab business, and has not stopped since. We consistently have done 1 a week for the last however many weeks in between last May. Yeah. Our goal going into this year was to do 50 rehabs, and we are currently on our 38th rehab. We've done only 2 wholesales this year so far. So as we've gone through this year, and we're in now into September now, we got about 4 more months left to hit our goal, and I foresee that we will hit that. Actually, I'm counting that one. I'm counting Jefferson. We haven't started. We're starting next week. We're already going, so I'm counting that one. So the objective today, like I told you guys, is really focused on estimating repairs, because this is where a lot of people have gotten themselves not understanding how to estimate repairs properly, or not giving themselves a proper renovation budget up front. And by doing that, this is how you're going to figure out what you're going to purchase the house for, and figure out what is your max allowable offer that you can pay for that house to still leave money on the table for yourself as investors when you go back to resell the house. For us, our exit strategy, probably 98% of the time, is to resell that house to a retail buyer. So what I mean by that is that when we buy the house, we already know what we're going to do with that house up before we ever close on it. So if that is a wholesale to somebody else, if that's buy and hold, like we just bought a condo this week that we're doing a light renovation on and ready to back out here, hoping over in Logan Heights. So as we've grown our business, we're fueling our individual portfolios and our company portfolios with the money from our rehab budgets, our profits from the rehabs at the end of the day. So when I talk about the exit strategy, we know that we're going to renovate this house before we ever, closed on the deal. So I'm already working on, the budget, all these things ahead of time. But estimating the repairs is done long before we ever go to close on the house. This is done when you actually go to put an offer on the house. Okay, so there's a difference between putting your budget together and what you're actually going to do to the house, and then actually just estimating what it's going to take to repair the house. Does everybody kind of understand the difference there when we talk about? So when Roger and I, spent a lot of time together in 2009 and 2010, going to every single house that we possibly could, every house that we put an offer on, all these things. And obviously with my background, you guys know, I'm a licensed contractor in the state of California. We have an active construction company still to this day. Roger took my time and picked my brain and figured out what we're going to do as we put the foundation to our renovation business together. We know what we're going to do to almost every single house before we ever even step in the house. What I mean by that is, I know I'm going to paint the whole house. I know I'm going to change all the baseboards to this style of baseboard. I know I'm going to change, so this goes back to our foundation and our blueprint of what we actually do. So we always have our base formula for us. Even if we're estimating repairs, we know we're going to spend X amount of dollars on every single house, let alone every house is specific, has its own needs and repairs of its own. Like today, you guys, most of you have gone in the back room back there and seen the big hole in the ground.
Yes, there was a hole back there.
Not every house has a hole in the floor when we buy a house, right? So that's something different to this house, and we're going to go through that here in a little bit. So as we've evolved in our business, Roger and I spent a lot of time going through every single house, him learning and growing himself, trying to figure out, what it costs to estimate how to do this, and what it costs to replace this. And now he's out there making the offers, buying the houses without me. So this is part of our evolution that I never even saw this house until today. This is the first time I walked into this house was 2 hours ago. So he bought this house 100% on his estimated repairs and his analysis of what the ARV is. And so at the end of the day, if we don't make money, we can solely blame him. I promise.
That's the way it goes.
That's a good way to cover yourself, Justin.
a lot of trust.
You know,
But if you make a lot of money, he gets a bonus or what? How's that go?
very much
Base
so.
price is awfully expensive.
Very much so. You know,
Windows, man.
Yeah.
yeah. Good thing we're not the replacement on this house. Huh?
Or the rack. We're trying to find those houses.
So we're going to really focus on the estimated repairs, you guys. So having those sheets there, we're going to walk through. And again, what we're going to talk about a lot is we're going to talk individually about what things cost, but also we're going to talk a little bit more about what RBD does. So you do have to understand the difference between what Lenny and Vicky do in their house may be different than what RBD does in their house too. So there's always going to be a little bit of difference in what your actual budget is and what you actually do at a house opposed to the next individual. So your estimates for repairs are not always going to be the same. That's what I was kind of getting to at the beginning here. We know what our base is going into it as RBD. We're going to spend X amount of dollars no matter what, on a house. Because we have a standard, and hopefully most of you guys have seen our houses to this point. We have a standard in what we do, and we will not deviate from that standard. And that's some of the reason why we feel like we've been so successful in such a short period of time.
What standard is that?
I don't know, whatever you think it is. I'll leave it
It's
at
a high
that.
quality standard, right? Yeah, it's high quality.
You know what? Someone else at high quality maybe
Could be
different
different
than
than
our
ours.
high quality.
It's all subjective.
So it's all subjective to what you're exactly. As I look around the room today, I see a lot of familiar faces. So again, I appreciate everybody coming out and supporting us. Coming to every single subgroup. Lenny and Vicky, Juliana and Sergio, Laura, here you guys?
Not yet.
Not here. I saw her name on the list there.
Yeah.
So, these 6 you guys, and Laura's husband, what's his name?
Alan.
Alan. They're over here in Chula Vista rehabbing houses, and I think you guys just sold one last month. Is that correct?
Next
month.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's going to close this month?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's in escrow, right?
Yes.
Okay, so and they've done a couple this year. How many you guys done this year? Juliana? Two? Correct. Okay. So they're right here in Chula Vista.
We're close with you guys, almost the same number you guys have.
Yeah.
Almost getting there.
Put in the
We're a
same
little
amount of
on-
hours, and all we got was 2.
Trust in our first year, we put a lot of hours in.
Gentleman over here by the front door, Mr. Michael Leaney. Most of you hopefully have met him. Mike's been out here rehabbing houses for a while. How many have you done this year, Mike?
Actually, not too many, only 3. I've done some joint venture and private lending.
Mm-hmm. Exactly what Mike's talking about there. Mike was actually a joint venture partner on one of the projects that we did in the Canto with us. So as we talk about opportunities and everything else, let's talk about it. It wasn't the greatest deal. We held it a little bit longer than we protected, and we had a break-in in the house, and lots of appliances, and all the things like this. But, unfortunately, it's part of the game, right?
Bottom line, at the end of the day, RBD has integrity, do things the right way, and they honor their commitments to their lenders. So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
recommend doing business with them if you have the opportunity.
So it's a success. So it's a success story that we ended in good terms, right? Exactly.
Right here next to me, you guys, Mr. Leo Clark and Margie Bowden. They're Mako Business Crest Investment Group, and they're actually a rehabber. They did a couple houses up in Riverside County. Was that last year or this year?
That was last year. Last year, then we focused.
Still this year, right?
Yeah. It kind of all blends together.
Yeah.
It's like where the time goes.
So now, Martin and Leo have really, and you guys came to Hillcourt obviously last month. That's a joint venture project that we're doing with them. We did one in Encanto with them previous to that, and we're currently under. Woodbine's closed out, so that's completed. And they're doing 3 up in North County with us as a joint venture right now. One in Escondido, actually 2 in Escondido. They start next week. The other one in Escondido, which we just bought, and one over in Vista right now. So again, we talked about opportunities last month up in Escondido, working with RBD Ventures, all these different things that are available.
So for Lenny, have part of they did 2 last year, just like you, but now in the last month they kicked off 3, so they're taking a
So,
team.
our objective was to infiltrate North County with RBD and kind of expand the county lines.
So by our association, we've been able to help them pick up speed, and it helps us in our business. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Absolutely. The gentleman sitting behind me, he's sitting down because he's a little bit tall. He probably hit his head on the ceiling over here. Ty Smith, most of you guys have probably met him somewhere along the line there. Ty was actually our first joint venture partner, private money lender.